Today, we're diving into 10 seriously powerful lessons on personal finance from creator Humphrey Yang. We're going to distill it all down into a clear, actionable blueprint that you can actually use to transform your financial life. Let's get right into it.
Doesn't it feel like this sometimes? Like managing your money is some kind of secret code that only a few people know how to crack. It can feel so complex, so overwhelming, almost like you're trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
But here's the thing, what if it's not some crazy, complicated code? What if getting control of your finances really just comes down to mastering a handful of powerful, simple lessons? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, and this is the big one, we'll tackle the mindset shift. Then, we'll get into your actual action plan. After that, we'll fire up the wealth-building engine. And finally, we'll cover the spending traps you've got to avoid to protect your progress.
All right, let's dive into part one, the mindset shift. Look, before we even touch a spreadsheet or talk about stocks, we have to start right here. You've got to get your head in the right place, because this is the foundation for everything else. And the absolute cornerstone of that foundation is something called delayed gratification. I know, it sounds a little academic, but it's really simple. It's just the ability to say no to a small reward right now so you can get a much, much bigger reward down the road. And trust me, this one idea affects everything.
This is such a perfect way to think about it, the power of zooming out. Humphrey Yang actually faced this exact choice. Take a job with a $20,000 raise right now, or pick a career path that would genuinely make him happier 20 years from now. You know, when you zoom out like that, the best answer becomes so much clearer. It's a great reminder that just chasing the quick win can often lead you down the completely wrong path.
Okay, I absolutely love this one. It's a super simple rule of thumb for any of those non-essential purchases. If you can't comfortably afford to buy it twice, then you probably shouldn't be buying it even once. It's just a fantastic, quick gut check to keep your spending from getting out of control.
And that brings us to something that, let's be honest, we all struggle with. You have to stop comparing yourself to other people. Seriously. What you see on social media is just the highlight reel. You see your friend's shiny new car, but you don't see the giant monthly payment or the credit card debt that came with it. The most important thing to remember is that personal finance is, well, it's personal. You have to focus on your own journey.
Okay, so we've got the mindset on lock. Now it's time to get practical. Let's move into your financial action plan. This is where the rubber meets the road, and it all comes down to keeping a close eye on three specific numbers.
And here they are, what Humphrey calls the big three. Number one, you have to track your expenses. You need to know where your money is actually going. Number two, track your savings rate. What percentage of your income are you actually putting away? And number three, track your net worth. That's your 30,000-foot view. If you just keep tabs on these three things, you will always have a crystal clear picture of your financial health.
Now, this is a huge one for your budget. The goal is to keep your fixed expenses, we're talking rent or mortgage, car payments, that kind of stuff, under 60% of what you bring in. Why? Because as soon as you go over that line, it just suffocates everything else. There's no money left to save, to invest, or even just to have some fun. So getting that number under control, it's absolutely non-negotiable.
Okay, so mindset is solid. Action plan is ready to go. Now for the really fun part, building your wealth engine. This is where we shift from just managing money to actually growing it and making it start to work for you.
Now, take a good look at this because it totally shatters a huge myth out there. Most people think getting to your first 100 grand is all about getting amazing returns in the stock market. But look, it's not. The vast majority of that initial nest egg comes from one thing and one thing only: how much money you can save. The math is simple, really. Early on, your investment returns just don't have a big enough pile of money to work with. So it's your raw savings power that does all the heavy lifting.
So, where should all those savings go? Well, if you look at history, the answer is pretty clear. Yeah, the stock market can feel like a total roller coaster from one year to the next, but check this out. The longer you stay invested, the less risky it becomes. In fact, if you look at any 20-year stretch in the history of the U.S. stock market, there has never been a period where you would have lost money after inflation. That just goes to show you, time is your absolute best friend when it comes to investing.
And this might be the most counterintuitive piece of advice you'll hear today. Successful investing should be boring. Seriously, if you're looking for excitement, go to a casino. Building real wealth isn't about risky bets and thrilling trades. It's about the slow, steady, predictable process of just consistently putting money away. It's boring, and that's exactly how it should feel. Morgan Housel says it perfectly in his book, The Psychology of Money. He says the real goal isn't to get the highest returns, it's to have the most endurance. You just want to get average returns, but for an unusually long period of time. It's that staying power, that endurance that puts you way ahead of the pack, not being some kind of investing genius. And if you're still not convinced, if you still think you can outsmart the market, just chew on this number for a second. 92%. That is the percentage of professional, highly paid money managers who couldn't even beat a basic S&P 500 index fund over the last 15 years. 92%. That tells you everything you need to know. For almost everyone, the simple, passive strategy isn't just easier, it's flat out better.
So the lesson here is pretty clear, right? Keep your portfolio simple. You don't need to own 20 different funds. Honestly, for most of us, a portfolio with just 1 to 3 really well-diversified ETFs is all you will ever need. Don't overcomplicate it.
All right, we're in the final section now. You've got the mindset, you've got the action plan, and the wealth engine is warming up. Now we need to talk about playing defense. We need to cover the common spending traps that can wreck all of that amazing progress you've made.
First up, you have got to be careful with depreciating assets. Basically, that's anything that starts losing value the second you buy it. Cars are the classic example, but also jewelry, designer clothes, most electronics. Now, it's not that you can't own these things, but the absolute worst mistake you can make is going into debt to buy them. Think about it. You're paying interest on a loan for something that's simultaneously becoming worth less money. It's just a terrible financial move.
Which brings us to this perfect term, the 30K millionaire. You know exactly who this is. It's the person who makes an average salary but is driving a luxury car and wearing all the designer labels. It's all a show. They look rich, but it's all financed with debt. They've chosen to look wealthy instead of actually being wealthy.
And this quote from the classic book, The Millionaire Next Door, just hits the nail on the head. If your only goal is to make money so you can spend money, you're never going to get there. Real wealth is built with a different goal in mind, financial security and freedom. And it comes from consistently living below your means, plain and simple, not from financing a flashy lifestyle.
So that's really the whole blueprint right there. It's not complicated, it's not a secret. You just build the right mindset, you follow a simple action plan, and you get that boring wealth engine running, and then you just let it do its thing for a long, long time. That's it. That's the whole game. So to wrap this all up, I've got one question for you. We've talked about your mindset, your daily habits, and how to grow your wealth. Out of everything we covered, which one lesson really hit home for you? What's the one thing you can start doing today?